Welcome back to Wee Willy Wonderfuls. In this video tutorial we're going to show you how to fasten the two ear pieces together. In the last video we were making one piece that you'd then done a slip stitch and a fasten off, and a second circle exactly the same that was not fastened off. So what I'm going to do to start with is get rid of that thread from the first one. We can do it at the end, but it is easier to actually do it at this stage. So I'm just going to thread that little end on, and I'm just going to go into the next stitch here just to make it look a bit neater, like so. I want it nice and round, and then I'm just going to just surface sew across here. So I'm not going all the way through. I just want that to be along the back so it's out of the way and not in our way and stuck all over. So what I'm going to do is actually just fasten those together for extra security. Just do a double knot to the little bit in the end. I've cut that a bit shorter, as you can see, as well, just so that it's not in our way. We don't want it getting tangled and in our way at all. So as you can see, these are both the front of our work. Those are the backs. You can see the difference because the stitches look much more circular and spirals, whereas here they're just not as defined and a little bit more mixed up and not as clear. And usually 99% of the time, unless you do something a little bit different somehow, work the wrong way around or something, the starting strand will be on the wrong side as well. So these are both our lovely correct sides. We want those on the outside. So we're going to put the two wrong sides together so you can see the front and the back are both the correct side. So now what I'm going to do is place them together, and the idea is that we're just going to crochet them together so that they are solid, and that saves us having an ear that doesn't look very nice on the back because the back is quite visible on the elephants. So this way we're going to have a lovely front and back. So I'm going to start it where I finished off here. You can start it somewhere else if you'd like, but we'll start here. And what we're aiming to do is double crochet all of the way around back to the beginning, but we're going to go through both pieces, and that way we are sewing them together, but we have a lovely neat finish. If you'd rather use a needle and thread and sew them together, you can do that, but this does give a lovely edging, so it's definitely worth doing, and I find it much easier than sewing it as well. So what we're going to do is go as if we're going to the next double crochet stitch, and then on here we're going to go through our double crochet stitch, go under both loops like you would normally on both pieces. Oops, let's start with this one. So go through one and then go through the other on the other piece, so you've gone under both, and then we're going to do a double crochet as usual. So it's exactly the same, you're just going through two pieces instead of one. So now we've done one, we're going to go into the next stitch and then try to do the next stitch on this one. Might not be an exact science all of the way around, but this is the next free stitch we can see, look, because it hasn't been sewn into, because you will have exactly the same number of stitches on both pieces. So by doing them equally and going into one and then the next, you'll end up exactly all the way around. You'll end up with them together at the end. You won't end up with half a dozen stitches left on one ear piece and you've run out of the other. So we're going through both sides, and then we're just going to continue that all the way around. If you hold them together, you can pretty much do it quite quickly once you get into it. So we're just going to go all of the way around. Oops. And you can keep looking where you're up to on there, but I'm just, there we are. Just watch you don't go into the same stitch a few times on one of the pieces because they won't end up even. Run all the way around, but so do be careful that you put the wrong sides both in the middle, because if you pick it up and just start going quite quickly, you might end up with the wrong side on the back, which is what we're trying to avoid. You've got the right side both ways. So next stitch and next stitch. It's like sewing them together really neatly. I love double crocheting pieces together. It's just so neat and so much easier than sewing. Not pleasurable, it's just more crocheting. Oops. One doesn't want to go through. You may have to pause and do it carefully, because otherwise you'll end up just going through one side of it, because it's facing the other way. The stitch is kind of facing that way at the back. It's flat. So you may have to just be careful that you're going through both sides of the V on the back piece. It's very easy if you're rushing to just go through the one loop like that, like so, but we want to go through both. So I'm just going to keep going all the way around. These ears may take a little bit of work, but they're absolutely gorgeous, the ears. They really make the elephants. So we're nearly there. We can see our marker coming up now. You can see they're looking quite even. If you're an odd stitch out, don't worry too much, because what we're going to do is sew the little end. We're going to nip the ear into shape and sew it up. So if you're an odd stitch or two out, it will get hidden. The only thing you don't want is to be quite a few stitches out, because that will be more noticeable. So we're nearly there. Got that one and that one. So I've pretty much run out of stitches on the back, but not to worry, we're okay. Oops. Getting a little bit more awkward at the end. We've got a stitch left, or is that the last one? Oh, that's the last one from our last round, actually. So we'll just take the marker out. We could have taken that out at the beginning, but not to worry. So we're all of the way around. So you can see the pieces are fastened together now. And you can see the lovely edge. It's got a beautiful crocheted edge. And the back still looks neat as well. Nice, neat finish. So what we're going to do now is open that up. So I'm just going to show you so you can see it all finished together. You can see those pieces are held together. So what we're going to do now is nip this edge into shape. So we're just going to nip it like that till we get that nice ear shape. Now you can sew this, or you can crochet it, whichever way you prefer. So we could just crochet an extra couple, or you can do this with your needle and thread. So just a couple of stitches, we don't want to be too. So that is the shape that we're aiming for, look. Beautiful. So it just gives it that nipped in shape for the ear. And once we've finished, we can then fasten it off. And we're going to leave a bit of a strand, like so, and that is for sewing the ear onto the elephant's head later. So I'll open that up a little bit, pull that through, there we are, and then just fasten that off. So you can see the ear shape now, and that's going to be a beautiful ear shape, fastening it onto Eli or Ella. Now here's the other one that I made earlier. So what you're going to do now is do another one exactly the same. So another two pieces, one slip stitch and fasten off and one knot, and then go all the way around and nip that into shape, and then leave those strands attached, because we're going to use those to sew them onto the elephant shortly. So I hope you enjoyed the ear tutorial, and in the next tutorial we'll be fastening it together.